we know I know describe so you will be mining, you will be CC, you will be auntie, whatever they decide to call you. Right? You will never be called auntie Kunoko, but back home, that's how you're called. The fact I'm going to be called CC Basa is something that has never come to my mind. I'm going to do something like that.
I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement.
Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope I find you well. So today I'm going to talk about something subscriber asked me to talk about, right? This is how I came to German, right? So if you're new to this channel and you want to be part of the Deborah Palmer family, then I encourage you to click the subscribe button so that you won't have to miss any of the content that I'm going to be sharing here. Yeah, so let's get into it. So after realizing that I had failed my A-level, I didn't come out well, I had to look for another option, right, to further my education. And the only option that I had, that I seemed to have, was to go to the college, right, which is one thing that I didn't want to do, or to go back to school. And I was afraid to go back to school because I have always been a bright student, I've always been a bright kid, and this was the first time that I had ever failed in school, and it was like depressing. I felt like a wreck. And yeah, you know, when you're falling star, I don't know if you have been a fallen star, but I know how it is like to be a fallen star, right? You have been that person who was like, oh, good at school, and this time you fail. And it will be very scary to face the world and face reality, because everywhere you go, people will be asking, what did you come out with? How are your results? And everything. So I was afraid to go to church, and I didn't want to go to town. I didn't want people around me. And this is when I had to do this au pairing thing. I knew about this program for a long period of time, like for a couple of years, but I didn't want to do it because of the nature of the job, right? It's something that I thought I was never going to do in my life. So this video is going to target people who are in Zimbabwe, because we know that the situation in Zimbabwe is not nice, and I'm going to mix Shona in English so that you get to understand each and every detail of everything that I'm going to talk about here. So I'm going to use Google Dictionary and look for what an au pair is. Right, so an au pair is a helper from a foreign country working for and living as part of a host family, because you will be hosted. In return, you will be getting a monetary allowance. Right, this is what an au pair is. So kumusha kwedu, we know kuti munhu anodescribe semunhu ari kubetsera pamba. So you will be my nini, you will be Sisi, you will be auntie, whatever they decide to call you, right? You will never be called auntie Kunoko, but back home, that's how you're called, right? So I didn't want to do this job, even though I knew about it for a couple of years, because my sister had also came with the same program. But the fact I am going to be called Sisi Basa is something that had never come to my mind. I'm going to do something like that. Right, so the requirements of somebody to be an au pair, you need to be of age 18, between 18 and 26. That's the age limit for German au pairs, and you have to have A1 Deutsch language proficiency, right? So you have to write an exam, a language exam, because you can't come here usingagoni kutaura chirudzi chavo, because hey pakaiva zvakatongoma hazvo. Anyways, so you have to do the language when you're back home, and you know what to, like the basic stuff, right? You don't have to do those hard stuff. It's easy when you're doing the basic stuff, but when you go further, you know, right? So the work of an au pair differs. It varies actually according to the family that you'll be staying with, according to their lifestyle. So there are some people who love traveling, right? And they're going to leave you with kids, because the Ninga don't travel about it too. So they're going to leave you with kids. So yeah, Siana, some of them they go to work 24/7. Some of them, you know, yeah, it's different from family to family. So yeah, the lifestyle that you're going to be living with and your job are going to be different to the next person, right? So in general, the tasks that an au pair is supposed to do every day are like carrying out housework, tidying up, making breakfast and some simple meals, washing the clothes, looking after younger children. This is the main task of the job, because you're supposed to take care of the children. You have to take them to school, you have to dress them up, you have to supervise them, you have to take them to whatever activities that they're doing. They do so many activities that if you get to be in a family where there are so many kids, you're going to be stressed, obviously, because any activity again, right? And you are supposed to take them to these activities, right? And the rights. So the duration of the contract is actually a year. You are only going to be working for a year, right? And your work time and your free time will be like this. You work for 36 hours a week, which is 6 days, sometimes 6 hours. You only work 6 hours a week, but it's not like you're going to work 6 hours in geese straight. No, it's not like that. For me, it was not like that, right? It was something else, and I never got to work 6 hours a day anyway. I worked less, or sometimes, yeah. So guys, Sienna, it differs, right? So holidays. So if these guys decide that they're going to Miami for a vacation or something, and they're going to take you with them, then they pay for your flight ticket, they pay for your meal, they pay for your accommodation, they pay for everything for you. So this will be a 4 weeks holiday, a 4 weeks paid holiday that you're going to get on top of the monthly allowance that you're supposed to be getting in your bank account, which is 260 euros per month. And these guys also have to pay 50 euros for your language course, because you have to do your language a little further. You have to further it, actually. So because Zimbabwe uninge A1, then when you come here you have to do A2, B1, B2, just going ahead, right? And they have to pay your health insurance. And so this is how the application goes. You, like I said, you have to do like a German proficiency test with Zimbabwe. Then you come here and you talk to these guys before you come here. You get to know them before you come here, because you guys their activities. Are you going to cope with them? What they expect of you, what you expect of them, and everything. You're going to talk about before you come here. So if you realize that you do not feel the vibe, you feel like, I know this is not the kind of family that I feel like I want to stay with, then you will have to change and look for another family, right? Then yeah, so upon arrival here, you can be picked at the airport, whichever airport you're winning, right? Frankfurt, Düsseldorf, wherever, right? Yeah, so the thing is that some of the families can ask you kuti utore train, so that yeah, because you will be staying as far as where I used to stay, like in Merzig. Merzig is very far away, so it's something like 3 hours, a 3-hour drive from Frankfurt. So I had to take a train from Frankfurt to come down here, but I didn't do that because these guys, they came and picked me up at the airport, which was nice, right? But some of these people, they tell you to take the train, then they will direct you to the station. So if you don't know how to speak, actually you have to ask, because you have to buy the ticket, you have to do everything on your own. So you have to know how to speak the language and ask the next person who's there. Yeah, you will find 1 to 3 people who can speak English, right? But mostly these guys, they don't want to speak in English, because why are you in their country when you can't speak their language, right? So yeah, you have to know how to ask kuti, anyway, ndikuda kutenga ticket, ndinotenga sei, rekwenda kupi, rekwenda ku ameno kwa kuda kuenda, right? So you have to buy this ticket and get to wherever you want to get. Yeah. So unofana unga uri munhu wakachangamuka so unoratidza kuti wabva kuZimbabwe because vana vekuZimbabwe takachangamuka. That's not a lie, right? I'm not lying about it. Yeah, so yeah, this is the whole thing about being an au pair. Typically it's just working semskana webasa or mkomana webasa, taking care of the kids, but you don't have to do it the same way that we do it in Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe you have to do everything by hand, like kuacha, kusuka, to say all these things you have to do using machines like washing machine, dishwasher, and you won't have kukoroba like what we do back home, because their flows in most houses is what do you call it, holes, wood, right? Matals are shunande wood. So if you use water kukoroba, ukashandisa mvura kukoroba every day, inotsemuka. So that's not something that you're going to do. You're just going to use a staubsauger. Oh, I don't know what a staubsauger is in English. Wait, a hoover. You are going to use a hoover to hoover around the dirt and everything, something like that. Yeah. So then, most of the things you will be using a machine. Then yeah, it won't be very hard as we do it as we did it back home. So yeah, that's the whole thing about being an au pair, and I hope you guys understood how this thing goes. If you need to know about anything, or if there is any piece of information that you didn't understand, then you have to comment on the comment section and ask me, then I will answer you. Right. And if you have something to add, maybe I've left out some 1 to 3 stuff about this, then you have to comment again, so that when I do the next video I can talk about this before getting into the new video that I will be doing at that moment. Right. So I hope you guys have a good day, a good night wherever you are in the world, and good night, because kunoku kavira. Yeah, so see you on the next video. Bye.
I think I'll last a bit longer.